Hello and welcome to this collective reading. I hope you're all well. Welcome back to those of you who've been here before, and a brand new welcome to those of you who haven't. Thank you for being here. So today we're going to be looking at the theme of heart healing and love. That's what's come through to me prior to this video. And yeah, if you'd like to see more of these readings, then don't forget to click subscribe, because then they'll pop up in your feed, and it also helps me to reach more people as well. So around heart healing, it's really interesting. I've got this sense of a kind of opening that's happening at the moment for many people. So if you clicked on this video and you're here with me now, then you're likely ready to receive some messages around that. And this is a collective reading, so it's for the collective that are watching, and it's also a timeless reading, which means that whenever you catch this video, whenever you receive these messages, it's the right time for you to receive them. So let's see what comes through around love and heart healing. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so we've got the Seven of Bows. The Seven of Bows is the Seven of Wands, and in this deck it talks about clearance. So this is definitely a clearing out, a letting go. You can see the fire in the background there. It's like placing things into the fire. That's what I'm hearing, like metaphorically, metaphysically, releasing things and letting that smoke go up and be released into the ether, into the heavens. So we've got these bows here, and looking at this bow, this one is faulty, it's broken, and it's time to release it. It's no longer serving whoever uses the bow. So I've just got this sense that there are past experiences, past situations, possibly relationships, in fact probably relationships, because this is a love reading, that need to be taken out almost, and like aired, like brought out up into your consciousness and out of the subconscious, and to be looked at and then to be released. So there could be residual energy hanging around from previous relationships that is making you feel weighted. I'm getting this sense of a heavy heart. And if you've been feeling any blocks around the heart area recently, it's not unusual. I've spoken to a few people who have felt that. And it's just this energy making itself known. So perhaps it's been there for a long time, but you've not been ready to process it, to let it go, to clear it. And yeah, so breathing deeply into your heart can help as well. Like imagine you're breathing into your heart space. Placing your hand on your heart can be very helpful. And just ask yourself, what is it that I need to release, or who is it that I need to release, or both? And this may or may not all be relationships that are romantic. It could also be close friendships, it could be family connections, and anything where you've really felt a strong bond with someone, and then perhaps there's been a loss of some kind, perhaps a breakup, or like moving away from someone, or a relationship, a friendship breaking down, for example, and maybe there's some hurt there, maybe some regret. And you'll know when you place your hand on your heart and you ask those questions, you'll have someone come to mind, or maybe you'll have several people, and then you will know who it is that you need to focus on. So it's definitely a good time to reflect on losses, I would say, and difficulties that you've experienced within any kinds of relationships in the past, and then release, like as much as it takes, keep releasing, because at the moment I'm getting this sense that the heart needs to be set free, and the heart needs to be set free in order for you to love and be loved fully. So not just kind of open close, because that's the energy that I'm feeling, stop start, maybe a push pull, hot cold, wanting people to be close but then maybe pushing them away, keeping them at arm's length, and then pulling them back in again. A lot of this comes from mistrust and fear, and of course building trust within ourselves can help as well. Building trust and safety within our own bodies, within our own souls, within our own selves can help us to feel safe with other people too. So there's also an element, of course, as with everything, of self-healing, self-support, creating safety within yourself. So let's pull another card and see what wants to come through. It's very warm in here, by the way, so if I start to look red, that's why. It's a very warm day. Okay, so we've got the Shaman. So this card is coming out a lot lately. This is telling me that you have all of the tools that you need in order to shift this energy. So you have all of the tools that you need in order to clear this space. I'm noticing again, we've got the smoke rising in the background there, and we've got the smoke rising here. And I think I mentioned this in another video recently. This is about intent. It's about setting your intentions and then releasing them up into the ethers. So if you have a particular way in which you would like to experience relationships, so say you would like to experience connections in your life that feel safe and joyful and pleasurable, and you can be around people that you feel calm and safe and comfortable with. If you have those desires, then set the intention for those people to come into your life. And it may also help then to heal and shift relationships that you already have in your life that you don't want to let go of, that doesn't feel right to let go of. You could then shift your relationship to those people as well. I will say though that when you set these intentions to experience those things, to experience those kinds of relationships, you may notice that more comes to the surface to be healed, because whatever isn't that vibration, whatever isn't that way of loving, because a lot of it isn't love, a lot of it's actually just attachment, that will need to leave, because you need to shift your energy, your vibration, in order to attract these kinds of relationships. And of course, as these things arise and you shift them and heal them, it's also going to help you to feel closer to yourself. It's going to remove blocks to you feeling empowered and confident and lovable. And the more that you can really love and accept yourself, the more that you can then attract that from other people. You'll have people coming into your life who can match your level of openness as well. The more that you can shift, heal, and mostly heal your heart, the more that you can open your heart, the more open-hearted people that you're going to connect with. There's going to be genuine connection. But it all starts with us first. It's not to say that you have to wait until you're completely healed, until you get into a relationship, or before you reach out and make new friends, because if we waited until we were completely healed, then we'd never do it, because there's always something to move through, and there's always something to heal. But it will help. It will help to do this work. The words that came through then are the only things that are standing in your way from standing in the way of you experiencing those connections. The only things that are doing that are these blocks that you carry within yourself, and they're all there because of things that have happened in the past. And we don't want to live in the past, we want to live in the now, and we want to create our future from the now and not from the past. So another card. Yeah, absolutely. So we've got happiness here, we've got the Ten of Vessels, overflowing happiness, joy, excitement, fulfillment. And this is emotional fulfillment at its peak. This is the number 10. This is the highest Vessels or Cups card that you can get, apart from the Court cards, of course. But in the Pip cards, in the Minor Arcana, then this is the highest card that you can get in the Suit of Cups. So this is the pinnacle, this is the top, the apex. This is absolute fulfillment. And I'm getting this overflowing of joy and connection. So if you've ever had a kind of endorphin rush or oxytocin rush or something like that, when you've had a real beautiful, close, trusting moment with someone, or something like holding a baby or a kitten or a puppy for the first time, or feeling at one with a nature space, or with another person, if you've had that rush of emotion, then this is what this card is representing in this reading, being able to experience more of that. And it's almost like getting a rush from like when people say that have used drugs in the past, for example, that they now don't need to use drugs anymore to get that high, because they feel connected to nature and they feel connected to spirit and they feel connected to themselves, and they can get that rush, that high from a sunset or a sunrise or seeing a beautiful deer in the woodlands or something like that, then that's what this feels like. It's reaching that pinnacle of joy and happiness and contentment without having to almost like chase people down to try and experience that through other people. So being able to access that within yourself and also with other people when you allow yourself to open your heart enough. Because I get this sense of a closedness, and it's actually for protection. There's like almost like a set cement or concrete feeling around the heart, a heaviness, a stone kind of energy that wants to crack open. And the only way I'm sensing that this is going to happen is to create safe space to be able to do that. So if you need to take time to step back, if you need to take time for yourself in order to really connect in with yourself and listen to what your heart has to say, that's going to make a big difference. If you can do that, it's going to help you to crack your heart open. Now, when the heart opens, a lot of emotion can come to the surface. Some of it will be this, some of it will be happiness and joy and a lot of happy memories that may begin to bubble up to the surface. At the same time, you may also have heartache that comes to the surface, regrets, pain from losses, from breakups, from, as I said, moving away, leaving, being left, all of those things that affect our heart energy throughout our lives. So you could have a mix of emotions that come through, and you may already be experiencing those at the moment. There's a kind of bittersweetness around it, which is a phrase or a word, I think it's a phrase, that has been coming up quite a lot lately for a lot of people. Bittersweet. And, you know, leaving something or someone behind can feel bittersweet, or remembering times with a person or in a certain place can feel happy, can feel exciting, can feel good, and at the same time it can feel sometimes sad and heavy. So any emotions that arise at the moment, especially like during this reading, you might start to have emotions arise, especially if you place your hand on your heart and ask yourself what's happening there. Take some deep breaths. If emotions start to come to the surface, that's good, and go with them. Don't block them, don't hold them in, because they need to flow. They need to flow, they need to come out, they need to be expressed. So let's pull a card from the Hidden Realm, the Tarot of the Hidden Realm. By the way, if you enjoy the decks that I use in this reading or any of my readings, then the links to those are in the description box below if you want to check them out. They are very beautiful decks. Oh, okay. Ten of Swords. That's a very, very strong energy coming through there. I was just thinking actually about when I was talking about this overflowing of energy and things coming to the surface, about death and rebirth, where it's almost like a grief feeling, that bittersweet energy, because the sweetness is that we know we can experience that again because we've experienced it before, and we can experience the happiness and the joy. At the same time, there's a death element to this rebirth that we're moving through, because the old has to fall away. And I just heard the words enough is enough. So if you have been hurt in the past, if you have been through major heartache, if you've experienced loss, abandonment, rejection, all of those things, then you're at a turning point at this time where it's not to say that these things won't ever happen again. I would hazard a guess as to say that they won't happen to the same extent, because you're more discerning in terms of who you connect with. However, there's always potential. Whenever we open our hearts, there's always potential to be hurt. And if we walk through life with our hearts closed because we fear being hurt, that's that stone, cement, concrete energy that I was feeling around the heart. It's that closing down, it's that shutting off. And then we don't feel any of this either. So what we're doing is we're cutting away the old when we move through these times of heart healing. And this feels like attack. If we look at this card in the sense that this woman is holding a sword and she looks very fierce and could be quite frightening, right? So if you've experienced any kind of emotional attack, perhaps even some kind of emotional abuse over the years, then it can bring up a sense of fear. It can bring up a sense of panic sometimes when you start to heal the energy of your heart, when you start to heal your heart center. And the thing is, those emotions need to be experienced. Like I said, they need to flow, whether that be the happy feelings, the sad feelings, or the fear that arises. So the words "feel the fear and do it anyway" just came through, which is quite a well-known phrase in the healing community and the self-development community, personal development. Feel that fear. You have to feel it, know that it's there. Now this is quite an uncomfortable, it's a very uncomfortable experience sometimes, because when we have those memories, we have those feelings come to the fore, like our brains think that it's happening now, and we have that fear and we freeze. The thing is, it's great to remind yourself that that isn't happening right now. That experience isn't now, it's in the past. And breathe deeply, soothe yourself, calm yourself. You can, kind of stroke around your heart, put your hand there, comfort yourself, squeeze your shoulders. I've found that can be quite comforting as well. If you think about if anyone's ever put their arm around you and kind of squeezed your shoulder to say, it's okay, you're okay, then that could also be quite healing and supportive. What's interesting there as well, this could be a message for someone specific. There could have been someone in your life who is now perhaps an ancestor who's passed on, who used to do that, who used to squeeze your shoulder and say, there, it's okay, you're going to be okay. Or you may even have someone in your life that does that now. And if that feels comforting to you, just get the sense that could be helpful moving through this time. But of course, the Ten of Swords in the traditional tarot, if we think about the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, there's a man lying on the floor, prone, face down, with swords in his back. And those are the hurts that I'm picking up on, that emotional attack, abandonment, rejection, people being unkind, and perhaps emotional abuse of some kind. I'm just getting a sense of pulling those swords out one by one, and it might sting a bit if you think about if you were pulling out a sword or a knife or something, you would feel that, right? Don't focus on that too much, it's not a pleasant thought, but it would hurt. You would feel the pain of that. And what happens when something is removed from a wound? Blood starts to flow. So again, I'm getting this energy of these emotions starting to flow once those swords, those daggers are pulled out. And you can actually visualize that as well. You could visualize taking out these past hurts. Perhaps you feel them in your back, you might feel them in the front, you might feel them as cords that are still attached from previous experiences with people, and you can focus on pulling those cords out. And I would recommend more pulling cords out from the root rather than cutting, because if we're cutting, we're leaving something behind in the energy field, and these things need to be removed altogether. And that's not to say that we won't then have memories of these people. So we'll say that it's not really the case that someone is all bad. It's very often not the case, and we may have pleasant, good memories with certain people. Again, whether this be romantic or whether it be family or friends or anything, even business partners, we could have good memories with them as well. So it's not like throwing the baby out with the bathwater, as they say. It's releasing what no longer serves, especially with this clearance energy in this card. So let's get another card from the Tarot of the Hidden Realm. Yes, I love it. Do you know what? I absolutely love this card after that card, what I was just talking about. Life renewed. This is the Judgment card in the traditional tarot. Look at the difference between the energy. This is your past. This is what you've experienced in the past, and this is your future. This is what you're moving into. This is your life renewed. If you think about the greenness of the acorn and just the innocence and the purity and the beauty of the child that is holding that acorn, this is an offering. This is an opportunity for you to live a new life. This is an opportunity for you to move on and to taste the sweetness of life. That's what just came through. You don't want this anymore. It feels, when I feel into these two cards, and I'm sure you can feel this as well, feel that energy, and it just feels like, oh, you know, it almost makes you recoil and want to step back and protect yourself, right? This card makes you want to move forwards, makes you want to accept that acorn. And what I'm seeing here is this being offered from the heart. So this is what I was talking about before, where people can begin to enter our lives when we open our hearts and we can trust ourselves enough to have discernment, and then we open our chests, open our hearts. This is what can come towards us then. People offering love, people offering genuine connection, people offering safe connection. So with this life renewed, with this judgment card, you know, it's that feeling of resurrection, that feeling of rising from the dead. I was just talking about death and rebirth, and life renewed. That's exactly what it is. It's a new experience of life. It's a new shot at life. And in the traditional tarot, again, Rider-Waite-Smith, we're looking at people rising from the dead, raising from the dead. They're awakening, stepping up, sitting up in their tombs, rising up and being reborn when the angel calls on them, kind of trumpets above them and wakes them up. So there's a heart awakening that's going on at the moment, and you're in a very good place to be able to transmute. You know, you think about the fire here, transmute, change, shift this energy into this energy, back to the purity and the innocence of, you know, who we were before all of these things happened. When we're born and we're fresh and we're new, we're babies, nothing has happened yet in our lives, and we're just alive and with this wonderment of, wow, you know, looking around at everything. So you may start to notice that colours look more vibrant as well when your heart opens more. You may feel a stronger connection. You'll probably already have a strong connection to nature if you're on my channel, but you'll start to feel more of that connection. You may notice children, babies staring at you, animals following you, warming to you very quickly. Perhaps if you're out in nature, you may notice that animals stop, they don't run away, they'll actually stop and make eye contact with you. And I just had the word Snow White effect come through, you know, like Snow White, all the birds come and land on her hand, which mirrors this card as well. Just this sense of really being at one, at peace with the world around you. So this is the aim, I suppose you could say, of leaving this kind of energy behind, the brokenness and the fear and the fighting and the pain and the perhaps abuse, as I said, emotional pain, also mental pain as well, because it's the swords, the suit of swords, and it's a lot of that's the mind and the thoughts. Could have caused a great deal of mental anguish as well as emotional pain. And, you know, it could also have been psychological abuse as well as emotional abuse. They tend to go hand in hand. And if you haven't experienced what you would necessarily call abuse, it could just be experiences that you've had that have caused you to overthink in the future about connecting with other people, maybe jumping up into your head with the potential connection coming through and being like, oh, you know, what if they hurt me? What if they take advantage of me? What if they leave me? All of these things that can come up into the mind when we start to want to open our hearts to other people. I will say as well that there is a need for discernment, as I said before. You know, this isn't just about walking around all open and just letting everybody in and just being like, yeah, like I'm just open to everybody, because that's not healthy either. You know, you want to be somewhere in the middle with discernment. We don't want to be wide open and just letting everybody in, because not everybody has good intentions and not everybody is aware of what they're doing either. That's more to the point, that people often don't know themselves well enough to not be able to project onto other people and hurt them, let's say. So we don't want to be completely wide open and we don't want to be completely shut. We need to be somewhere healthy in the middle. So let's pull a final card just to see what the final message is for this video, for this reading. Okay, Five of Swords. Yeah, that's what I was just talking about actually. These thoughts that come in. Again, this is a kind of battle energy, so it's really interesting. This tells me that this is something that's been very prevalent in your life, and perhaps even through lifetimes you may have had lifetimes as warriors, warrioresses, knights, you know, lots of fighting, lots of battle. And in this lifetime, perhaps if you've been in the military, then that could be literally what you've experienced in this lifetime. But I'm getting the sense that a lot of this is mental battles. So it could be a battle that you've been experiencing in your mind that has been caused by past experiences. So I just had the words, you're not out of the woods yet, but these are the woods that you want to be entering. There's an offering, there's an opening. I guess I could call it a portal at the moment that's open, that's inviting you to connect with this part of yourself, connect with the pure, innocent, brand new, maybe even like the baby aspect of you, how you were when you were first born, before any of this happened. And yeah, definitely still have boundaries. I think this relates to that as well, what I was just saying about not being too open. You still need a shield, you know, still be discerning. I actually want to pull one more card before we go. And I'm going to go back to the Wildwood Tarot for this one. Just to get a message around how you can focus on the healing of your heart. I just keep getting this sense of having a hand on the heart there. So this could be, this could be a message of how to connect with your heart more deeply. Ooh, okay, so two cards have come through. Okay, so we'll go with this one first. We've got Three of Stones, creativity. Okay, grounding, connecting, touching the earth, touching the stones. Being out in nature can be very, very helpful for heart healing. Think about all that greenery around you, especially at this time of year. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, there's a lot of green, there's a lot of life. So connecting in with that. Also, I'm getting an ancestral connection here because of the age of the stones and the roots going down into the ground. So you can call on your ancestors to help you to heal your heart, because chances are you're actually helping them to heal theirs as well. This could be an ancestral pattern that you're healing. And as I said before as well, there are past life connections often that have to do with what we've moved through in other lifetimes. So that's what I'm getting from this card. Creativity, literally that's what this card is called, and also connecting with other. So others in terms of spirit guides around you, of ancestors that are willing you on and want you to succeed and want you to experience this happiness. They want you to experience that, and perhaps they weren't able to experience that to the full extent, and they want you to do that. They want you to experience that in this lifetime. And then we've got challenge. So I think there's going to be a lot of jumping back and forth from the heart to the mind, which is generally what tends to happen when we want to connect more with our hearts. We might start to have doubts. The fears come up, and the fear starts to spark in the mind. And that's what this is. Again, it's the same kind of energy. It's battle energy, challenge energy. So just be aware. These could be thoughts coming in as well that are, it's almost like they try and sabotage you and kind of keep you out of your heart. So just be aware that that could be the case as well. But we've still got that spring-like energy. If you think about hares boxing, you've got the hares competing to mate with other hares. And there's that sense of competition there, and I'm really getting that between the head and the heart, but also just this sense of spring energy and the chance for life renewed again. And there's quite a nice kind of match between these colours. And spring and hares are related to birth, to fertility. They're very fertile animals. So there's that sense of fertility, and we've got the acorn here, which is of course a seed. So there's a seed. At some point you've planted a seed of wanting to open your heart more fully, and that's what's coming through. Somewhere along the line you've set this intent, and if you haven't fully set the intent yet, this could be a good time to do so. As I said, when you do set intentions, emotions can then arise because you will be clearing what no longer serves you. Feel whatever you need to feel, cry it out if you need to, and love yourself. Love yourself very deeply. Get to a place as much as you can of self-acceptance. Yeah. Open that I'm still getting that stone, cement, solidified, concrete kind of feeling around the heart space. So as much as you can, you know, start to gently open. Oh, it's not about like rip it open. It's about gently removing the layers, and again, I'm just getting that sense of comfort yourself through the process, and then you're going to be far more open to be able to connect with the people that are right for you, and you're going to be able to have proper heart and soul connections with others and enjoy that. So thank you for watching this reading. I hope this has been helpful, and thank you for being here in general. I really appreciate it. All of my links are below if you want to book a private reading or access any of my other offerings through Instagram or Patreon. And yeah, thank you for being here, and I'll speak to you all next time. And much love. Bye bye.